completed my degree in 2020, and currently I'm practicing accounting, and I'm also pursuing CPS. Thank you.
Can you hear us?
Thank you so much. You can clap for them. So this is our great team today. So today we are going to have a small discussion on the C's of life. That is spiritual, economic, academic, and social life of a campus student. And we are so privileged to have you here so that you can also contribute on the same. If you have any question, you can forward them on that number, and then we'll get back to respond to any question, either spiritual, either academic, either social, or either economic. That's financial. You can forward them to that number, and we'll. So, as I start with our great sister Zarina, in campus, we usually have a lot of free time, as many of us expect in school. So maybe I may ask, considering the amount of free time that we get in our college and campuses, how are you able to maintain a vibrant social life and also a disciplined academic life?
Thank you for that question. Number one, I will say how I maintained my academic life is through attending all classes. The main reason why you came here to Kibabi is because you are a student. And so attending all classes, doing assignments, attending group discussions, and also having personal reading time at the library. Socially, I think it's just having time with your friends whom you share the same values. Now those are the friends from the CU surroundings. Yeah, thank you.
So, our brother, Mr. CMF, how can you describe time management? And how are you able to manage your time in matters in the CU? And also, how are you able to balance your time in CU, your family, your academics, while still in campus? Please share with us.
I think when it comes to time management, I would say it's been a steward of time. A steward of time would mean that the time you have is not yours. You will account for it. So the time that the Lord has given you to be around, it's an opportunity, it's a resource that you would need to spend well, and you will account for it in one, the Lord Himself, in hopefully in the day of judgment. You will account for it when your parents come at the end of the 4 years. They expect that when they come, you will need to get. They are coming to celebrate you as you graduate and have a degree. And so I think for me, the definition of time management would be a steward of the time that the Lord has given you. And a steward, you know that you will give a report and you have something to show at the end of it all. In terms of balance of my life, in terms of both the CU, I was able to serve in the Christian Union in different capacities. Since first year, I was a member of the ushering and decoration ministry, and also a member of the high school ministry back in campus. So that there was academics. I was also pursuing CPA at that time, and now I had my own family and friends that I needed to follow up on. It's maximizing the time we have with each and every person. As Zarina has said, the main reason why we are here because we are students. And I think attending all classes, that is number one, so that during time your class, when it comes to a time when you have, say, small group discussions with members and assignments, those are done on time and submitted, so that you are not the person who inafika time ya assignment. I don't know, Rizana, by the way, tulipewa assignment hiyo lecturer migani hiyo unit inaitangwa aje, so that you have the know-how of that. But also, I think besides studies, the other thing that was able to pick my time would be the Christian Union. I was so much involved. If you wouldn't find me in class, I was in the Christian Union. The Christian Union serving, but also growing and having free time. We had a certain garden, it was called the Garden of Gethsemane, which was a prayer garden where we used to go and pray. And I think that also quite shaped a lot. But gleaning also from especially the fourth year students who were there at that time, I felt the elder students who we had in campus had a lot of resource, and sitting with them down, they would be able to easily account for my life. They would easily be able to ask me hard questions that I don't think I would have thought about. And so it's academics, knowing, attending all classes in the free time, being in the Christian Union, and catching up with elder students, gleaning from them. But also I think I really enjoyed hanging around with friends. So that we would at times want to tour within Kisi County where we were students. We would often go for hikes together, just pick a Saturday, say we would want to climb a certain hill. So we go climb a certain hill, take pictures, enjoy, then come back in the evening, cook ugali, sleep, and then tomorrow we wake up for other things. And so in conclusion, I would say this: I think time management is being intentional and deliberate to ensure that none of your balls falls. You are jiggling around many things, your academics, your friends, and service in the Christian Union. And so it's ensuring that every ball remains in the air and none of them falls. And that is by being very intentional, maximizing the time. When you get to class summer, when it's time for the CU, you come to the CU. When it's time with friends, maximize it fully. And that makes you to live a day at a time and living at the moment.
And also to give a short story, it wasn't that smooth when we talk here that we planned, we were well organized, I remember there's a time I had 2 papers during examination, yet I had prepared for one. So after the first paper, I knew I was going back to my house. And my friend is asking me, are you prepared for the next paper? And I'm asking, which paper? Kindly check your timetable. Yeah, so I had to prepare for that paper in 2 hours, but thank God I passed the paper. So plan your time. It wasn't a smooth journey. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Go and clap for that. Mr. Sim, let's talk about finances. Back in campus, how did you get funds? How are you achieving funds? Or which means were you using to get funds in campus?
Thank you for that question. When I joined campus, our family is not big. We are a family of 3, three children with 2 parents. At that time, my elder brother was also in campus. He schooled in Maseno. And then I also joined campus when he was in that year. So I was in that year. He was in that year. I was in first year. He tried to apply for help. That did not materialize. So for me, I gave up. I didn't apply for help. So my parents was applying a bigger chunk of my needs in terms of paying for rent and paying also for my food, school fees and upkeep. Initially, when I joined campus, things were not so easy. I think there was quite a stretch, and also there was a family project that they were running. And I think being there, that made me to be very cautious of how we would manage finances. There was something when I got into campus, meals in the student mess are very cheap. So we used to buy ugali for 5 shillings, buy cabbage for 5 shillings. We used to buy rice for 10 shillings, beans for 5 shillings. So that you knew if you have 20 shillings, you would take 3 ugalis and one skuma or 1 spoon of cabbage. And you would be full to ugali ya kisiagi. So it's well refined. And I think at times things would get tough, and being a first year, there were times when I would be totally stretched because say my roommates, we were living 4 of us in the school hostel, and we didn't have money because say the money that I was sent, we were able to eat all of us to ensure that none of us lives hungry, and at times you are pushed to the corner. sometimes to Nainama. Kuinama is basically missing meals. It's called 100, that you eat breakfast, you miss lunch, you miss supper, or 1-0-1-0. So you miss breakfast, you eat lunch, and this other one. But I would say one is to be self-cautious. When I moved out from the university campus hostels and was starting to live outside, my parents continued supply. But I think it reached to a place that I felt my needs are at times getting much bigger, and I wouldn't want to overstretch my parents. Bigger in terms of, say, activities in the Christian unions that would come, say that we have a mission, and I feel I don't want to reach to my parents and tell them, pay for me the mission that is upcoming, and so I would need an extra source of income. I think that's when I began doing business. I was making bow ties, I was making lapels and pocket squares for men, and then I would make ornamental flowers for ladies, either to put on the chest or hairbands. I would also sell earrings, handkerchiefs, and socks, and which was quite a booming business, and especially the bow tie and lapel and pocket square business. I began that in towards the end of Form 3, towards the end of that year. And it would almost bring me 100% profit, because I was able to pay my rent for several days. I would be able also to cater for my upkeep, so that then my parents are able to supplement my school fees. So I think for me that's how I was able to survive through campus. But also friends used to come through very, very easily, especially when I'm hungry. I would approach, as Cedric said, I would approach an elder student and say I don't have money, and they would give me money, because all the students around here have money. Asante.
Thank you. So back to Madam Zarina. Most of our campus students, you might find when they are joining, they are still fresh. Maybe the guardian is providing. Then after some time, maybe when ends not meet at home, they opt for other things like wababas, also for our girls, and also for the boys, they might opt for things to make ends meet. So, or even drop out of the CU because they see the God we are praising, he is not supportive. So how can you advise a first year on how, maybe when finances don't meet at that point, what should be the best option for them?
Thank you. I think number one, I would say it's contentment. We come from different backgrounds, and so we are here from different places. And so being content with what you have, with what your parents are able to provide, is very key. And in a situation where they are unable to provide, I think also in my second year, when things were tough back at home, because we were also three in campus at the same time, I opted to go and make hair, to help in a salon. And it's a skill that I learned that is also helpful even at the moment. So I would go there depending on whether the classes are in the evening or in the morning. So I will make hair and make my 200 shillings, 300 shillings, and with that I will budget my things from that 200 or 300. Yeah. And then number two, I will say it's trusting the Lord. As much as he is faithful, there are moments he will tarmac. There are moments it will be so hard. But that is not a reason to leave the CU. In fact, it's a more reason to stick to the CU and to stick to the Lord. Because he has promised us that he will be with us. Yeah, and he has not promised, he did not say that you will not face these challenges, you will face them. And as you face them, know that he is with you. So it's still trusting the Lord and being content with what you have. And number three, I will also say, every choice has a consequence. So having wababas is a short-term thing that will satisfy you at the moment. You'll have the money to survive, but in the long run, you will regret why you made that decision. So I think making a conscious decision, because at the moment we are grown-ups. So make a decision that you know in future it's glorifying God, and number two, it's also healthy for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You can clap for that. So back to Mr. CMF. You said you had businesses and some sort of income generation. So how did you manage your expenses?
I think one, in terms of how I began the business, I read a book. It was called What Kenyan Entrepreneurs Don't Tell You. It was written by one of us, it's called Anthony Jake. One of the things I remember, I attended the launch of that book, and I would tell us, in case there is a free event around campus, kindly attend. So we attended the launch of that book. I was quite in a quite a prestigious hotel in Kisii, so I attended. And then the vice chancellor was also in attendance, and so he asked all people, all students who are inside there, they didn't have the book to stand up, and then he would buy every one of us a book, and that's how I got a copy of my own. And so I read the book, and I think the first thing that it was saying is start with what you have, which was quite something that was quite intriguing. And I began with zero capital. I only had a piece is a material, the waste materials that most of our tailors wanachukua wanatupa. So I would go and gather those waste materials because the piece that I needed to make a bow tie wasn't a too big material. And then I went on YouTube and Googled how to make a bow tie. And so I sat down that night with a few materials, with a pair of scissors that I had at home, with a needle and with a thread. I think that night I made 5 bow ties. So on making those 5 bow ties, I posted them on social media and said, a new hobby has come in. In case you need a bow tie, kindly let me know. Posted that on Facebook. By the following day, I had started receiving orders, something I had not thought about. And so the whole thing of thinking, so how much are you selling this bow ties at? And I think that's how we began thinking that in itself as a business, which grew with totally zero capital. By the time I began buying materials, it was quite established, I would say. In terms of then managing, it's knowing there are two things. There is the income, and then there is the expenditure. What is your inflow? How much money is getting in? Where are you getting your money? Either your parent is giving you money, or help is giving you money, or you are receiving a bursary, and most of the bursaries would go to school fees, or you are having a business. So you are able to calculate, if I'm receiving, say, 500 shillings from my parent on a weekly basis, what are my needs? We have always said the greatest need of a student, first of all, is pay school fees. Think about school fees, and I know if you apply for help, part of it goes to payment of school fees. When you apply for bursaries, that also goes to catering of school fees. Because as it was said, you are here to read and to learn. It would be very bad that when we are approaching towards the exams, you do not sit for the exams because you haven't finished paying for school fees. And so after payment of school fees, you are thinking about your rent, where you are staying. Because you don't want to be sleeping around. We had students who used to sleep in the university lecture halls. Unapata tu student amelalia kiti hivi because hana place ya kuishi. So you cater for your rent. And catering for your rent, when living outside, we would live 2 of us, so that if a house was 3,000, we were able to split that to 1,500 per person. And the other majority thing is food. So what we do about food is that we would buy things in bulk. When coming from home, we would take everything that we find at home. Hatuko tunakata chochote. My roommate was from Kitale. So alikuwa anakuja na ngunia ya mahindi. Tunajua in a whole semester, kazi itakuwa tu kutoa mahindi, tunaanika, tunatafuta 10 bob, tunasiaga, tunapata unga. So tukiwa na unga tunahitaji only 10 bob ya boga. Hizi vitu zingine we can negotiate. There was that thing that was being said, kukua na nyanya ni luxury. So unakaranga tu skuma unakula unaenda. And so food, we would buy things in bulk. Say we want to buy rice, we budget. So how much rice do we need in this month? Because mostly that's how our money would come. My parents would send me some money on a monthly basis, and for him also. So we know that this month we would require this amount of rice, so we go purchase things, say like 5 kgs of rice, zikae hapo, sukari kae hapo, unga ya uji. Yeah, and then we live, you live according to your means, and I think Zarina has said about that. And especially, you know, sometimes help inaingianga, and the first thing you are thinking about is buying a woofer. Then KPLC wanafanya ile kitu woofer yako inachomeka, and you bought it at 10,000. So you have no help and you have nothing to show. Or you buy, especially clothing. It's also a good thing to think about. But even as you think about clothing, sometimes when I was a first year, nguo zangu zilianuliwa kwa hanging line. In the first 1 month, which felt very bad. I used to wash my clothes, and then zikikauka, I iron them and then hang them and have clothes to wear. But wakanianua nguo zangu zote zenye nilikuwa nimeweka kwa hanging line. I'm yet to recover. But I think why would you need to get to a boutique yet you can be able to go? Kuna mtush safi safi. There is a certain thing we say here. Ukikuwa na mtush safi na marashi kidogo inaitangwa polio, unapimiwango na sindano na kakizungu kwa umbali, you are good to go. And no one would know whether you have a mtush or you do not have a mtush. The owner is not here. He is in the United States or somewhere else. So live within your means. So I was able, mtush for me was favorite, which is still is up to date. So naenda nachukua nguo za mtush safi sana. Ikifunguliwa camel, ikifunguliwa tu hivi napata mtush safi. And so I'm able to really live within my means. And so it's knowing what amount of money would I need for my expenses and how much money is coming in. But finally, I would say something that now I have learned on this other end is tracking expenses. Tracking expenses would mean that you are sitting down and knowing where is your money going. So that in the morning you had 200 shillings, but right now you do not have money because you woke up in the morning, ukapata mess kumefungwa, so ukatoka pale nje, ukaitisha chai, ukaona ni kama msee mwenye mnaishi naye hostel moja anakuona, so instead ya kuitisha yai na ndazi ukasema acha nipe mayai na slice mbili za mkate. So ukatumia close to 50 shillings. Ukitoka kidogo, smoky, harufu ya smoky tu inakugonga tu vizuri. Nasema acha by the way nikule smoky moja tu. And by the end of it all, you find 200 shillings have gone on things that were not really worth. And so budget for food. Right now most of us are living inside campus. Budget for food because the hostel is already paid for. Budget for food, budget for airtime. Ikifika wifi, fungulia wifi, messages zingie, download videos utaenda kuonea kwa room. So that you are cutting all expenses that would be there. But usijifananisha na watu, live within your means. Some of our parents sold cows. Wasiuze ngombe halafu ukue wewe utakuwa ngombe ingine huku unatumia pesa vibaya. Asante.
Thank you. Yeah, in the meantime, if you have any question, you can just send there. And back to you, Madam Zarina. If I need to start a business, how do I start one? Share your side of the story if you have ever started one.
Actually, I started a business after campus. In campus, I doubt if I had any, because it was the saloon business, and that was someone's business. I only went there to help. And after campus, I think the capital I was given by my mother. She gave me 20,000. So I went to Busia border and picked the vitenges. So at wholesale price, one kitenge goes for around 800, 900. So I picked almost 19, 18 there. And some boxers and some ladies' underwears and handkerchiefs, yeah. And then coming to Bungoma, I sell one piece of kitenge at 1,500 or 1,400, depending on who you are, yeah. And I did that for quite some time, to a point where I now got an employment. And then I think I suffered from bad debts. Some people did not pay, and so the capital ikakunywa maji. Yeah, but it was a wonderful experience. Yes.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. CMF. In campus, people often, there's one challenge that we face. Maybe kama unainama and then your friend tells you that there's a place to make money. That is called betting. Do you approve betting? Like we Christians, should we bet?
Watu wa Vieta, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. I don't approve betting. I have never betted myself. I feel it's not a clean way of making money, and also it has very high risks. Risk, but secondary is the addiction that comes with that. There is something that tells you utashinda tu, utashinda pesa. Unaekelea, inakunywa maji, nakwambia kesho jaribu tu. And you know the way they say, mtu anakuja hapo after ameshinda anasema nilijaribu mara mingi, nikajaribu lakini siku moja nikashinda. So it's very enticing. But I would say it's not a clean way of making money. We have been called for hard work. I know people would reason, even analyzing the games is hard work and what have you. But no, work with your hands, and the Lord is able to bless the work of your hands, and toil, because the Lord has given you a mind and a brain to think about it. But second, it's the addiction that comes with that. It is very hard to stop betting. It's an addiction like sexual addictions, and I know perhaps that would come later on as a question. And I know of a story of a person who has betted until one day he was a treasurer of a wedding committee, and he betted pesa ya committee close to 300,000, and he was kwa chukua tu kidogo, acha niekelee nitashinda nirudishe pesa, and it's bad. It's bad. So for me, I would say it's not a clean way of making money. And if you are there and you are struggling with betting currently, it would entice you that you are given school fees. So the first thing you think about, wacha niekelee his school fees, itazaana mara mbili. The rules have it around here, itakunywa maji. And so juu itakunywa maji, it will lead to frustrations and conflicts, and especially with family members. The people who are sponsoring you, and it would always lead you to a pressure because you do not have a lot of money. People who have a lot of money do not bet. They invest. But us who have little money, we are the people who bet because we want more money. And the little money that we have also goes. And so don't always make other people rich. I would say in case you are struggling with betting, you can come and we are able to journey with you at a season of how are you able to stop betting. That's one. But secondly, there are clean ways of making money, and we have told you some of the ways that you can do. And part of the classes that we shall be having, the AnswerFit and VucaFit classes, the CU is able to bring us resource people who can tell us of how they began with business, and you do not require a lot of money. In my class, we had a person who he realized that we have 7 a.m. classes, and most of the people who are coming have not taken breakfast. And all what he would do is buy a carton of biscuits and come and sell to us at class. So he would buy that at wholesale and sell to us. Others were selling lollipops. And so you are able to begin a business with even less than 100 shillings. Like for the earrings, we would, in a wholesale price, because if I'm to sell earrings at 20 shillings, I got them at 10 shillings. And so you are able to have a big profit margin at when you are beginning your business at a very small thing. But also it's to say that betting in itself is a heart issue that would require the Lord to save you and help you be able to overcome. Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe still on finances, Madam Zarina, what are some finance management strategies you can advise to our first year?
Okay, before I get into that, the issue of business, I think most of us, we have the fear of watu wataniona aje. Niko campus, nashinda nikitembeza sweets, nikiuza hivi. It's better wakuone aje rather than ulale njaa, ama rather than you go for the betting ama the wababas. Yeah. Pardon your question?
What are some of the finance management strategies you can advise for first years?
Number one is have a budget. have a budget. Panga ile vitu unataka in a month. Kama ni unga, kama ni mafuta, like have a budget. And then stick to that budget. Ukisha stick to that budget, you will remain with extra coins yenye umebudgetia mboga and maybe escort daily. And then track your expenses, as Kamau has mentioned. Track your expenses, ujue, this is what I have spent here, this is what I have spent here. And then you keep reviewing it. I know it's not easy because I remember there's a time in campus tulikuwa tunaadvisiwa, you can save money. And we are asking, how do you even save when you don't have what to eat? Yeah, but it's a discipline that when you are committed to it, you will not regret. Because back then, iyo pesa tulikuwa tunapata ya help, whatever our parents were sending us, if we could really budget for that money, probably saa hizi tungekuwa some people somewhere. And wealth creation, haikujangi haraka haraka. It's a journey and it's a process. So stick to the process and the Lord will help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You can clap for them.
And especially in these very formative stages that you are a first year, I know some of us, it might be the first time you are being entrusted with a lot of money. So that your parent alikuacha na 5,000 na hizo pesa, unajua venye pesa zinakuongeleshanga, zikikuwa zinakuitaitanga tu. So you feel you have a lot of money, you want to buy everything that you see outside there, you actually saying you cannot eat in the mess. I would say manage your expenses. Perhaps your parents just give you money and you thought they will be giving you 5,000 shillings every month. That might be the only money they are going to send you until December, when they are going to send you fare to go back home. And so is to manage that money well. There was a saying that was being said, that in the first week you unaingia kama first year unakula kuku, ukienda the second month unakula products za kuku, mayai nini, ukienda unaanza kukula chakula ya kuku, cabbage nini. By the time inafika December unakula kama kuku, anything that you find around. And so it's manage your expenses and your expectations around here.
Thank you so much. Can you clap for that? So before I proceed with questions from the media desk, any questions from the media? Yes, there is one question there for you. I can direct it to Madam Zarina. Hi, I'm Joel. I really want to join Kibusu praise team. Any advice for that?
Okay, thank you. I believe there's a procedure on how to join these ministries. And so you can see one of the leaders that you have spotted, and then they will guide you on how to do it, because there's a procedure on how you join. You don't just come from home and join a ministry. I don't know if that's how you do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Joel, is a procedure to join the praise team. They are just over there. You can find them there. If you want to join the praise team, you can go there. Any other question from the media desk before we proceed? Yes, Mr. Clement. How can I relate with others in campus, and how will you know he or she is a good person?
How do you relate with others? The word university, where we are in, is called university because of the word universe. It's universal. Universal means that we are people from different places. And that is one of the things you should never miss about campus. You know, some of us, you perhaps have schooled in this very same county. Ulitoka primary hapo, ukaenda high school hapo tu nyumbani, mlikuwa tu mnaongea tu lugha ya nyumbani, and then you come here and you understand there are people from tribes that you have never had. You know, the tribes that we used to read in what? In social studies. Kushites, Pokomo, Tugen, and you find them around in campus. I would say, one, avoid prejudice. Prejudice is what you have heard about other tribes. Wakikuyu ni wezi, sijui nani wanakulanga watu ama Waluya wanakulanga ugali, hiyo ni ukweli. But the thing is, avoid a lot of prejudice. What your parents told you, put it aside. That doesn't apply. It's not totally real. And some of those things are not factual. In my hostel where I was in Jupiter 12, the Kikuyu, the other guy was a Kisi, the other guy was a Kamba, and the other guy was a Luya. And you know, at times, if every person decided to talk their own language, hatungesikizana. And at times you would find Mkamba amefungulia Musi FM, kuna mwingine amefungulia yao, and that in itself is a whole noise by its own. So number one is ensure that you are getting to connect with people from every tribe. It would be bad that after your 4 years, the only friends you made were friends from your own tribe. That you are going to Mombasa and you do not know a friend around who is able to host you or direct you in a certain area. So make friends from all tribes. And the places to make friends would be, number one, in the Christian Union around here. We have a lot of confidence with the people here in terms of you can always trust them. The fact that they are born again and they are able to work with you and ensure accountability is happening. But secondary is in the classes. Our classmates, some of them might be or not born again, but you are able to initiate conversations with them and keep them close. One, because we are doing courses together. It would be bad unafika class ama ulikuwa umesahau kwamba uko na cat and there is no classmate of yours who is able to remind you because you do not talk to people in your class. So you would also want to have a friend inside your class, but also in the places where you are living. But the second part of it is relating with others, is knowing what would you prefer, what are your expectations towards other people. You would expect that they be giving you things, and for them that's not what they expect. For them, they know friendship is about talking stories. So as you make friends, is to know what are your expectations, what are you looking for in a person, a friend who you are looking for, and how do I know that he or she is a good person. Friendship takes time. You do not judge a book by its cover. Some of the people who may seem as good friends are not good friends. Hata wanaweza kuwa ni tunasemanga nani amevalia ngozi ya kondoo, ni mbwa mwitu amevalia ngozi ya kondoo. And so you would want to take your time, start journeying with them. Friendship and commitments are made through communication. The more you communicate with a person, you get to know them. And the things that we share about our ambitions, we share about our lives. So where do you come from? Where did you school? We call it biodata. You know, the general information. Ulitoka wapi, ulisomea wapi, unafanya course gani. And then we get to the other thing about shared vision. So what do you want, or what are you looking forward in campus? Which ministry do you want to join in Kibusu? Then from there we go to the next stage of sharing what we call the hearts that are there, or the fears that we have. I fear this is what I am feeling so bad about. Am I going to finish campus because my parents are unable? Then afterwards there is the last process where we say deep hearts, or things that happened to your life. By the time you are getting to that place, you would have already known that is a trusted fella who you can tell all your secrets. But I would say friendship takes time. Friendship is deliberate. Friendship is measured by commitment, and commitment comes through communication. Asante.
Yes, on the same note, Madam Zarina, like let me just put it clear, what can you describe as sexual identity? And how can you advise someone who is sexually active and is struggling with perversions like pornography, masturbation, or even attraction to the same gender or LGBTQ++?
Thank you. For sexual identity, Kamau, you'll help me. For someone who is struggling with sexual perversions and is actively, he's sexual active, mostly psychologists will research and say that these are childhood wounds. These are things that you underwent while you were a child, unknowingly or knowingly. Either you were defiled, either you lacked that love from your dad, either you lacked that love from your mom, either you were abandoned. They are childhood wounds that you went through. And so they are coming up at the moment, and you are now scratching them through having the perversions, e.g., having a partner of the same gender, being active because you are defiled, and all others. So my suggestion will be is come closer to the Lord. He's able to forgive you, and you are able to start from a clean plate. And then number 2, you can journey with someone who is a specialist, especially a psychologist. I'm sure they are around, even in the group of associates, who can help you. You unravel your wounds and talk about them so that you start on a clean slate. Yeah, thank you.
I think sexual identity is people want to define it differently in terms of also the orientations that we have. I would say it's being a man or being a female. That is it. You are either a man or a female. You cannot be either. You cannot be both. And so you are either a man or a female. That's how God has ordained it in Scripture, that male and female, He created them and ordained them. And despite that times would be changing, and people would have different views and thoughts, the Scripture in itself remains absolute, and that's the way it is, that you are a man, you are a female because of the way you have been created, the hormones that you have. And knowing that is also understanding that our bodies are growing. We are mature people, mature in terms of physically, and it's really knowing that no one is too strong not to fall. Any one of us can fall into sexual addictions. Any one of us can become a victim of that, either voluntarily or involuntarily. And I think it's to be deliberate, to say no to all ungodliness, to be very cautious. When Joseph fled from sin, when Potiphar's wife wanted to rape him, he ran, like literally running. Times you would need to close your eyes. At times you would need to do away with your phone. Times you would need to uninstall all those social media platforms that you are having. Go for media first. Talk at Facebook, talk at TikTok, talk at X, or squeezing it or X, talk at X, talk at Instagram. Ningumu, utaonekana as if you are not functioning okay. But take a break. And also I think the other thing that has quite made us think the way we are movies and series. I think it's the other part of campus that makes our life busy. Movies and series. And most of the movies and series these days, you would realize they have a lot of sexual orientation, that it is hard for you to watch a movie and that movie does not have a sexual scene, either someone kissing or people petting or people with a same-sex attraction. And it's quite funny that those people who seem to have those addictions are portrayed to be very good people, so that you have a very soft spot for them. It is a lie. It's a lie. That's just something that has been created. It doesn't happen in real life. And so know yourself. Say no. In case you are addicted, kindly leave. Say no. It first of all takes a deliberate action of you deleting those apps, and then looking for other things that can pick up your phone. So that as compared to going to watch either internet pornography or those obscene scenes that would come in movies, one of the things that I had hoped is that I would have begun doing short courses earlier in campus with the internet that was around. I would perhaps have finished a lot of short courses, and most of them are free, that are there. I would perhaps have learned to make bow ties in first year. I would be owning a tie company by this time. And so you are able to make a lot of good with what is already there. But for those, as Zarina has said, those who are struggling, we are here to be able to work with you, because you will hide sin. As Leviticus says, your sin is going to catch up with you. Your sin is going to find you out, so you cannot run away forever. And so find help in case there is any such struggle you might be having.
Thank you so much. Back to the media desk. Do you have any question for us? Yes, we have one. I'm Brighton Sirama, and I'm interested in preaching. How do I go on? Back to you, Madam Zarina.
Thank you so much. I love the desire that is burning in Brighton's heart. We have so many programs. You're at the right place. And as a CU, we have so many programs that will help you grow as a preacher. Under the discipleship desk, under the Bible study, we have the Best P class, and this will help you because they are run all through the semester. So purpose to attend all these discipleship meetings, Bible studies, and Best P classes. They will help you to grow on your own, in your devotion, and also as you would wish as a preacher. Yeah.
And also I think it's a good thing, and we hope that you can sustain that zeal to the very end. Well, those opportunities coming up would be rare. One of the things I would tell you, the speakers who would come, you would be interacting with going forward. They are refined. When you hear that we are talking about, say, the academic background or their marital status and everything, it's because we believe the Christian Union in itself is a training ground. A training ground where we come and equip soldiers for war. Our vision is that at the end of it all, we would release equipped, well-developed and transformed students. And so, I would say, as you desire to come and preach and also serve, say, in the praise and worship and other ministries around here, also come here with an attitude of learning. We bring people who are exposed because we not only want to preach by our words of mouth, but we would also want that our lives would speak to what we believe and teach. And so that in itself comes in order. But Best P in itself is a good place to help you grow, to know how to structure your sermon. But even if that opportunity does not come, someone said that you do not require a pulpit to preach. You only require a sinner to preach to, and sinners are everywhere. Sandy.
Thank you so much. You can clap for them. As we wind up, two questions from the media desk consecutively, and also one from the congregation. Media desk. What is CPA? Another one. You can give us two consecutive or three. You can grasp that. I'm new in Christianity and I need someone to guide me to know the truth. You can also take that one. Another one. We'll answer them at once. We all know that there is in all high institutions like sexual immorality, and people join willingly and unwillingly. How do we control this? Have you gotten that? Last one. Is it bad to have a girlfriend here in campus? So the first question, you have, okay, let's just go with that also. Apart from the basic challenges like food, did peer pressure ever affect your salvation? Like feeling very left out? Juu ya kuambiwa, huyu ni wa kanisa, everyone just judging you. The last one. How can we be able to interact with strict lecturers? We cannot answer those questions. There are so many questions. I wish we had a whole day to answer those questions. There are so many. But I hope our panelists have taken those ones. As they are not, also you can add one. How can you manage relationship and academics? And were you guys in a relationship at campus, or are those peripheral matters? So I think most of these are academic and relationship issues. Is that how do we go about girlfriend and boyfriend relationship now? I think you could have started with this one. So I'll start with Zarina. I think most of them are social girlfriend relationship matters. So you will go with that.
I will go with three questions. The one was, what is CPA? CPA is the short form of Certified Public Accountant, which is a professional course that is done by anyone, whether in the accounting field or not in the accounting field. You can also pursue education and you do CPA. And its examination body is CASNEB. Yeah, the way NEC offers their examination, so CASNEB offers this examination. And then when you get the certification of CPA, you are able now to practice as an accountant or as an auditor or as a taxman. Number 2, how do you cope with strict lecturers? I think these are matters of relationships, and in a way these lecturers are senior to us in classes, and they define the tone of how you'll behave in class. So if a lecturer says that you're supposed to be in class at 6, yet you've been told that campus class ni saa 4, you'll have to cope because it's for your own benefit. Lecturer ya ashamalizana na maisha yake, so you'll have to cope with how ye anaenda, because he's the one who'll give you marks. He's the one who'll determine whether you pass or fail examination in campus. And then, was I in a relationship in campus? I was in one, ikakunywa maji. Yeah, ilikunywa maji, because I will share this out. Because this guy wanted to sifanya nini? To sikwe piwa. Yeah. I had to tell him no and just walk away. And several situationships that I later learned the hard way. In a way, nikasema wacha ipumzike. I know myself first. I know what a relationship entails before I get into one. It's not a peripheral idea as one mentioned. It's a good thing because it's from it you will get someone you will settle with in future. So in any way you get someone and you walk in purity and this person knows the Lord, I think you're good to go. But at the moment, I'm still single. Thank you.
Thank you. I think picking it from there, the issue about relationships, which I think it's majorly has been asked, we might not tackle everything. And that's why we are inviting you to be quite consistent in this orientation week for the activities that we have, because it's part of the things that we are going to discuss. We had hoped, as the bookie had said, that there are some panelists who we had hoped they would come, but they didn't. One of them was, it's called Pastor Emmanuel. We schooled with him. For him, he got the girlfriend in campus. We schooled together. So it's possible to get a person around here, but also it's possible for you not to get that person around here. And I would say it's too early. Umefika hapa Monday. Unasema ushapata bibi ama bwana. And it's less than 5 days. You're nayo ni uongo bwana. And so it's not bad. In campus we are trained to think maturely, and there is what if the brochures you've been given, there is what is called MELA, men and ladies things, and this is what we discussed. We discussed how do you get into a relationship, how do you know that he is the one or she is the one, how do you ensure that you remain sexually pure, how do you heal from a heartbreak after a character development, and all these things. For myself, I have not been in a relationship ever. In several situationship is a place inaitangwa beshte. So mkona mtu nyinyi ni marafiki, ni kama mna lakini hamrelate. It's very bad. It can lead to a lot of conflicts that come afterwards when the expectations are not met, because say one of you is expecting you would talk, and then you do not talk. And so I would say this in terms of, it's not bad to get a boyfriend or girlfriend. Some of you will get your wives and husbands from this campus, but also some of you will not get them from this campus. And it's the Lord only who knows who will get and who will not get. And so we keep resting on him. It's not a peripheral issue. But the other thing I would say, lecturers are not your age mates. Respect them. You may come to class late, you may pick your phone in class, but these lecturers are able to make or destroy your life around here. Unaweza gongwa supu hutaamini. or even been given a suspension, and you will not love it. And so be kind to them, but also glean from them. I know they come teach, they go. Glean as much as information you are able, because they are exposed, they are landed, and you are able to have make the most of that opportunity. Finally, in the issue about peer pressure, I think peer pressure happens, and not only in issues of getting a girlfriend or boyfriend. Peer pressure is everywhere, including with our own parents. Mama wa chama sijui amenunua vitambaa zinakaa hivi, anakuja anasema hata mimi nataka kununua vitambaa zinakaa hivi. And around in campus, the peer pressure would come. Number one, with friends and clothing. I think that's the highest bid, the way people dress, because you want in campus, we are known, we are exposed guys who dress nicely. So you want to dress to, for lack of a better word, kukunywa watu. And so you want to be the person every other person is every other time. Dressing. The second one is technology. You want a good phone or a laptop, and your course does not require a laptop. You just want a laptop to watch movies. And so you are telling your mother, it is required for us to have a laptop. So your mother sells a cow to buy you a laptop. It's not good. It's not godly, actually. The other peer pressure would come, issues of relationship, but also including around here in the Christian Union, there would come a lot of issues of peer pressure, because you want to also be felt that you are a spiritual guy. When I joined first year, I came and found brothers like Thomas who are very fiery for Jesus. So I found people in the CU are speaking in tongues. And for me, I was not speaking in tongues. And so I wondered, what will I do? And so I looked around and realized there is no Kikuyu who knows my language. And so I started praying very loudly in Kikuyu. And people thought that I'm speaking in tongues. And that made me very happy. And so is to tell you that peer pressure is everywhere. In terms of the spiritual life, well, at times it is healthy because some would push you towards growth. Other times it's not healthy at all. It's not healthy at all. So I would still repeat and say, manage your expectations, know who you are, and live within your means. You shall reach there, and a time shall come you will not be struggling with some of these things. Asante.
Thank you so much. You can give them a very, very round of applause. Yes, because of time, I know we have many questions that are there. On our media desk, they can confirm. We have a lot of questions, but we cannot tackle them today. Also, we have a service tomorrow. We have next week. So, as you keep coming, we'll tackle all those questions. But for now, I can say we stop there. It has been nice plenary sessions. I know most of you also are having questions on your head. Most of you are having that secret. But if you need any help, you can see them also. They are here after the service. Or if it's more private, you can write a note and give it to them. We will pray with you. So with that, I like to say thank you. May God really bless you.
I think before we finish, there was someone who asked a question of they came to Christianity soon and they are willing to grow in faith. I think you can see any of us, either Zarina or myself, after this. Asante.
Thank you, thank you. The brother who said you want to grow in faith, so you can see our moderator or our panelists after this, and it will be a blessing. And anyone too has any question, you can also see them. Like you to join hands as we clap for them as they leave the stage. You can keep clapping until they have their seats. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We praise you for that. You can also clear up for our brother Govinda as he's coming on the stage.
Okay, praise God. Thank you very much for attending this service, and I believe it is a blessing. Simebarikiwa. Simejua mambo mageni. Yeah, so I am called Alvin Ongeri Govinda, a third year taking accounting and also CPA, and I bless the Lord for that. So tomorrow we'll be having a service here again, not a course, a service here again. So ensure that you come with your friends. Sawa sawa. Yeah, and ensure that you help your friend. Unajua nyinyi watu nimeona mko very digitalized. Nimefurahi sana vile mna join WhatsApp group. Sawa sawa. So ensure that you help your friend to join the WhatsApp group. Si mmeingia WhatsApp group? Funza mtu hajajua, sawa sawa. Na kesho ukuja shika mtu mmoja mkono ukuja na yeye hapa. And as you are leaving this place, if you know maybe uko na shida ama hautafika salama, tafadhali baki nyuma, tutakusaidia. Sawa sawa. Sawa sawa. Sawa, may God bless you. We can stand up as we share the grace. Any security matter, please. Mali unaenda maybe utapotea hiyo road huko nje, ama unafili iko insecure, tafadhali tutakusaidia ubaki nyuma. Sawa sawa. So may God bless you. We can share the grace. And now may the grace God